In the immortal words of Johnny Clegg, it is a cruel, crazy, beautiful world. Let's go on an adventure. Hello and welcome to Capricious Conversations. Thank you for joining me today. Huge shout out to you, Johnny Clegg, because you're totally awesome, and that's also one of my favorite songs. It is a cruel, crazy, beautiful world, and you know what? Right now in America, it's seeming more cruel and crazy than anything, and it's mostly due to this election. And I think, honestly, there are a lot of issues. There's a lot of things to really think deeply about and a lot of things that kind of get us riled. I understand that. I totally get it. But the thing that has bothered me the most so far is that it has been incredibly cruel and incredibly divisive and incredibly just unkind. And it seems to me that a lot of people are kind of forgetting that opinions are, everyone has them. Everyone's got their opinions, and not everybody's opinions are going to line up with yours. But the thing that people keep forgetting is that opinions are just one part of a person. And the thing is, people are people. Everyone's a person. And they deserve to be treated like people, not just their opinion. So today, I need a little dose of kindness, and I think you all do too. And I think we could all help each other a little bit along by making our embrace a little bit larger and just offering some kindness. So I'm going to give you some stories that are going to build you up and restore your faith in humanity a little bit. These are historical stories, but you know what, guys? There are plenty of opportunities for you to write that history right now. In 1933, America was in a massive depression. Times were bad. The Dust Bowl was happening, the stock markets had crashed, it was after World War I, people had come back really hurt and messed up. It was not a happy time in American history. And you know what? People were being kind of cruel because everybody was out for themselves. But there was one guy. I'm sure there were lots of kind people in the Depression, by the way, but I'm highlighting this guy. His name was Samuel Stone. He owned a chain of clothing stores, and he was really moved with compassion because he saw that so many people were struggling and he wanted to do something about it. And so what he did is he took out an ad in the newspaper under a pseudonym saying that he wanted to give money to people, and he asked them to send them letters dictating why they needed it and what they were going to spend the money on. And in December, right around Christmas time of 1933, Samuel Stone sent out checks to 150 families. What a kind of an awesome Christmas present is that? I can just imagine for those families that is probably the Christmas they best remember. They probably didn't get a lot. They maybe didn't get any gifts at all, but you know what? They received that kindness from that man, and there was probably food on their table because of it, and that made a huge difference in their lives. He did that under a pseudonym. No one knew who it actually was. No one knew it was Samuel Stone until 2008, when his grandson discovered a chest with the letters including his pseudonym. So Samuel Stone, thanks for changing the lives of those 150 families. You made a humongous difference. During the Holocaust, which was, of course, just a massively unkind time in human history. I mean, the entire world was at war. Jews were incredibly persecuted. Over 6 million were killed during the Holocaust. Just a horrible, horrible, unkind time. There arose a whole bunch of people who decided that they weren't going to be cowed by fear and who decided that they were going to be kind. And one of those people, one of just the most amazing women I've ever researched. Her name is Irena Sendler. She was born in Krzyżanowska. She was born near Warsaw. She grew up in a community that was actually largely Jewish. Her father had died in 1917, and the whole community rallied around her and her mother. And then when the Germans invaded in 1939, she became part of Żegota, which was the Council to Aid Jews, which was a resistance movement in Warsaw. She fiercely opposed building the ghettos. Unfortunately, they were built. But she was a nurse, and in Żegota, she was kind of promoted to be the head of the children's division. And so she would go into the ghetto and she smuggled out 2,500 Jewish children. And once she smuggled them out, she gave them IDs and ration cards, found them homes and places to stay, and literally saved the lives of 2,500 kids in the Jewish ghetto. Unfortunately, she was eventually found out, amazingly though, that she got that many kids out before they found her out. But she was found out, the Gestapo arrested her, they tortured her horribly, mercilessly, and to her credit, she never gave up any of her compatriots, nor any of the names of the children that she had rescued. And this is just like God smiling on this woman. She was sentenced to death. They did not get around to executing her, apparently. She actually survived the war and went on to live a very happy life. So here's to you, Irena. You're awesome. There was also another guy, a British man named Nicholas Winton, who saved 669 Czechoslovakian Jewish children through a program and brought them to Britain and gave them brand new lives. That's kindness, guys. And you know what? That's kindness in the midst of a really, really unkind situation. Yeah, sacrificing themselves to be kind. That's pretty amazing. A bunch of celebrities have been really kind in various ways. One of the kindest that I read about is Jackie Chan, who is just amazingly philanthropic. I've heard stories of him, like, building whole water towers for villages. I've heard of him, like, paying off people's houses. I've heard of him feeding whole, like, crowds and crowds of people. Just a really, really giving individual. And recently, he had 2 children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation who were terminally ill. He flew them to Hong Kong, escorted them around the city for a whole day, and then threw a dinner banquet in their honor and just made them feel completely special. And his whole thing was that he wanted to give them a reason to keep living. And so he was just like, he said that's what he does it for, because he wants to see these kids happy and enjoying life. That's awesome. There are a whole bunch of celebrities who work with Make-A-Wish as well. John Cena has granted over 500 wishes with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Justin Bieber has over like 250. That's crazy. Hulk Hogan's really high up on the list. But these people are just really going out of their way to be kind to these kids who are facing really, really tough circumstances. And in some cases, these kids are just, facing impossible odds. But to have that one day, that one super special day, that's awesome. And that's gonna make a lot of difference to families after the fact. That kind of comfort. That's so cool. I'm not gonna lie to you, I may have cried a little bit or, a lot when I was researching this episode. If you want just a really great time, Google the kindest things people have ever done. And I was kind of expecting these like really monumental things to come up, like some of the things that I've shared with you today. I was expecting these huge things to come up, but you know what came up? Was just like page after page after page after page after page of people talking about little tiny things that strangers had done for them that like radically changed their day. And I'm not gonna kid you guys, it's intense. It's so beautiful. And I was crying reading these stories, and there's something silly like, this woman who her father had just gotten diagnosed with cancer, was waiting for a friend at a coffee shop, and, was visibly upset. And so a stranger came out and gave her a $5 gift card and was like, hey, it looks like you're having a really rough day. Go buy yourself some coffee. Like, how beautiful is that? It's just amazing. And there's so many stories like that. So do yourselves a favor and Google the kindest things people have ever done and just read through the stories. We're not just talking about this stuff to talk about it, right? We're talking about this stuff to inspire us to do something about it. There's so much unkindness in our world. There's so much unkindness in our nation right now. But you know what, guys? We have the power to totally change somebody's day. And you know what? We may even change somebody's life by being kind. Seriously, everyone you meet is a person. Everyone you meet is going through something. And you know what? We just need to have a larger embrace. Let's just love people. Let's just be kind to people. Let's just celebrate that, you know what? We're humans and we're humans together. Let's be awesome together. For real. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Leave me a note down below of the kindest thing somebody's ever done for you. I would love to hear those stories because they super duper make my day. One of the kindest things someone has ever done for me, you heard it in the saga of our Europe trip that my sister and I did way back in season 1. But our friends totally randomly paid for our bus tickets to Berlin, and then the bus driver wouldn't let us pay him and told us to keep the money. It changed the trip, honestly. It was such a huge blessing. And you know what? That is so totally awesome. And I know that every single one of you, either whether it's a little something or a big something, leave me a note and let me know the kindest thing that somebody's ever done for you. Let's talk about this and let's get it trending, okay? Because this is awesome. This is what we should be talking about. Thank you for sharing this video with all your friends. Let's go on an adventure.